Okay, we're live. Hey guys, hi guys.
I got you singing.
Here I am, Yankee T News, and Jason is getting in.
And here we are
in the pilot's chair there, getting ready to fly.
Getting ready to go on to Facebook Live here in just a moment.
Okay, so.
And so we're ready to talk about a lot of things. I want to bring up something else first, real quick.
That's right. My null set audience there. Okay.
We can do this. We can do
by.
this. We can
really do comes along later. And there's got to be, I feel like we're sharing useful information, and there's got to be a basis for rebroadcasting some of this stuff. I don't know.
We share a lot of good information. Here we are live on Facebook now too. Common Sense News and Entertainment on Saturday, May the 23rd. And we are here with Korwinowski once again in another joint venture with Yankee T News. And there he is. Where is he? Where is this guy? There he is.
Yeah, I'm right here. We're
ready to roll. And let me tell you.
Yeah.
I have a lack of sleep thing going on right now, which I think it's got to the point where the funnies are going on a little bit. You ever been out of sleep, like had a lack of sleep for a while, or you stay up too late and you get the giggles?
No,
kind of get silly and goofy. Your body starts secreting a certain different hormone, I think, when you.
I see the giggle hormone.
Okay. Yeah, and then you're no longer tired. You're just kind of like, hey,
until you crash, right?
Yeah. So
right. That may be around the corner. It is Saturday night.
Any other topic? I'm going to bring something we didn't bring up yet.
Okay, go ahead.
I heard today. I got a call from this guy. Actually, I've been talking to, and he said, "What is going on? Trump hasn't left the White House for his own son's wedding.
Yeah,
and there's apparently a lot of trouble going on. Other things brewing up around Washington. And then I heard someone else said to me a little while ago, just an hour ago, that my son actually told me that the White House is in lockdown right now."
Well, yes, that's because I'll give you the gentleman's name here. See if I can find it. Where did he go?
Yeah, what happened here? I haven't heard anything on media about this yet. Just from my.
All right, the gentleman's name is coming up. Nasir Best, age 21, now deceased.
Nasir sounds like an Arabian name, and Best sounds like
he'd be black.
Okay.
And it was another case of somebody who is, mentally deranged. It says here, he believed he was Jesus Christ, sources tell the New York police. Okay, does somebody who believes he's Jesus Christ go out and get a gun? I don't think so.
No.
All right.
Maybe a saw and a hammer to build a table.
Okay, so the other part of the story is people said they heard like 20 or 30 shots. All right, so what happened was this Nasir Best guy got off a couple of shots, and that's about as far as he got because the rest of the shots were coming from the Secret Service.
Was he on the grounds of the White House?
No, he was outside of the White House, so he never penetrated the barrier. No,
never made it past the big iron fence around the outside of the property.
Right.
Oh well, okay. So this isn't a big deal. Boy, they made it sound like it was White House Down, the movie again. I mean, Jesus.
Well, leave it. What's the job of the media is to get people worked up.
Well, I didn't see any media. This just comes from the people. Yeah, they heard it on the media though. So yeah.
Right. So if they said they think there were two people, one killed, one conscious and still alive. So maybe we'll hear about a second person.
Well, I heard about that. The cabinet they canceled. This is what I was told. They canceled all the Memorial Day events for the weekend in Washington, and that the cabinet whatever Memorial Day events they're going to have in Washington, D.C., they canceled them, and that the council members are all being held in separate places. I mean, the cabinet members are all being held in separate places and all this crap. And it sounded pretty dire. I don't know if that's true or not.
You're watching incredibly well executed worst case scenarios, right? So, because they don't know what's out. I mean, they just know that a couple guys, look, one of the things that these guys can be is a test. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the elements of warfare is you want to know little things like how quickly does the enemy respond? In what way does the enemy respond? They bring a little bit of force, a lot of force. What kind of force? How do they use that force? Okay. So if you trigger a response from the enemy by just getting a couple people up there to cause trouble, that teaches you a lot about what you're going to do when you decide to really attack.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
I hope that's not the case, but you're right.
Well, it's not
Now,
me.
does that mean that
Military
is that true though? That the Memorial, as far as we know, all the Memorial Day parades and events in Washington were canceled? I hope not. I hope that's not true.
Yeah, so they have Sunday to think about it, but this is the problem now. All right, so let me just say something. I don't know about your experience, but when I've been to Washington D.C., you have, excuse me, every square block. All right, from the White House to Congress and everything in between, crawling with undercover people.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a constant state of lookout. That so-called homeless person you see there
isn't necessarily
pushing the wagon is really an FBI undercover agent.
Good chance of it, yeah.
So, for example, he looks shaggy, but not quite shaggy enough. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
He's a little too clean cut for being shaggy.
When I was 10, my stepfather took me to Washington D.C.
Yeah.
I spent a weekend there as a boy. Went to the Smithsonian. Went up to the the memorials. We did not go to the White House.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was not part of the tour. We drove around it, but we didn't go in it. And other than that, I haven't actually been in downtown D.C. really since then much at all.
Okay, well, things have gotten worse.
I'm sure.
There are a number of, quote, terror cells to worry about.
You did go see
have the threat that's been cited against Ivanka Trump. You heard that?
I did hear about that.
Okay, so you have guys shooting. You have a threat against Ivanka. There are probably a couple other things that have gone on they didn't talk about. You add it all up, and they're sitting there going, there looks to be the potential for a serious problem here. So we're going to have to up our game. So I think that's where we find ourselves at the moment in Washington, D.C. All right. So the part, though, that's strange is how now there's, it's been quiet for a while on Iran, but then all of a sudden now there's the talk that a deal might be imminent. How many times have we heard this? How many times?
Here's what I think. I think there's something going on. There's something very sinister going on behind the scenes that we don't know about right here.
When you say sinister,
I don't know what it is.
Sinister,
like something like maybe somebody has some type of weapon against the country, not against Trump personally, but against the country that they're holding over Trump's head.
A weapon.
Maybe.
Well, there are only a few people who have
maybe something that could affect us on our soil.
Yeah, there's only a few people who have the ability to have such a weapon.
We got to remember how the Chinese and the Russians want to help Iran.
Yes.
And if both of those countries have nuclear technology or have some very strong weaponry, if not nuclear, and they can't get those weapons into Iran, who's to say that they can't help Iran organize something in another part of the world?
Let me
like the Western world, like our world.
Okay, let me set you up in a different way here, okay? Somebody keeps coming on and off over here on my side. I don't understand.
I guess what I'm getting at is this does not the way that Trump has behaved over the last 3 or 4 weeks is not the Donald Trump that I know.
I think that's because this is the art of the deal, Trump, you're watching. Okay.
I hope that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, but on top of that, he's had more than his share of crap to deal with, courtesy of the Senate.
I just got the impression that in the first 2 weeks of this war that or leading up to it, even when you go back to last fall with the bombing we did last fall there, I just had this feeling Trump was Mr. No Nonsense Trump, and I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like the last month he's been. I mean, Iran is clearly flipping the bird on us publicly, and then talking nice talks behind the scenes. How long is Trump going to put up with this duplicity?
Okay, so let me help you out. There's a video. You probably haven't seen it. It's one of those cute cat videos.
Mm-hmm.
And what it shows is a little cat attacking a big cat. So he keeps throwing his paws at the big cat, and the big cat's just sitting there taking it.
Yeah,
until he decides not to take it.
That's what we did for 47 years. That's what we did for 47 years, and I've had enough of that shit.
No.
Snuff this shit out. What is the advantage in dragging it on? Tell me.
The advantage.
The game makes no sense. If we're so dominant over, unless what you're saying is true.
No, we're not dominant. That's the problem. Okay. Look.
Unless what I'm saying is true, they have something they're holding over our head that they don't want to make public. Then why not just squash this bug and get it over with? We are big enough to do it.
Iran is not a bug. I hate to break it
They're
to
a
you.
bug.
Okay.
Well, I know we don't have the will to send in ground troops. I guess that's probably what it is.
I think that's a factor too. You know, I mean, as I've said before, President Trump sincerely doesn't look forward to having Americans die.
First time one of our cities goes up in a suitcase bomb, nuclear bomb, then I guess we'll all regret that fucking around too long.
How do I feel about that?
You know, if I like to know my enemy. If I'm Iran and I'm a religious zealot that hates America, I realize I have no military power to defeat them. What am I going to do? I'm going to do everything I can to sneak into the United States and take them out, take their people out in the United States, a la 9/11, a la whatever.
Okay,
that's what I'm going to be trying to do. And the longer I consider out, longer Trump farts around, the more time they have to do something like that, don't they? Especially when we're not funding our own homeland security.
You assume he's farting around.
I think he's farting around. I know he probably has an ulterior motive that's better. I get it. Trump's a smart guy. I don't want to put it, but to me, time is a universal thing here, and I don't see the advantage by waiting. I don't see it. Maybe I'm missing.
Well, the thing is, I do. But the point is that the way I read this is there's a point of convergence between the preparation work that we're doing and the preparation work that they're doing. All right. Are they getting more out of their time to prepare than we are out of our time to prepare?
Probably not.
Okay. But so it should be understood that this is it. I think, you know, given Mossad and CIA being on the ground and God knows who else is there, okay, you still have the problem of training, of resources, of communication, getting different people to work together towards a common goal. These are not easy things to do when you're trying to coordinate.
Corey, have you ever heard of carpet
thousands
bombing?
Of people around the nation?
Have you ever heard of buster bomb, carpet bombing? Ever heard of carpet bombing?
Well, carpet bombing is a pretty irrelevant idea to me.
Well, look, just destroy the damn wall.
It's going to work.
Would you agree that over the last 5 weeks since we had this ceasefire, that hopefully our Army intelligence and our CIA have come up with a good target selection, both military and industrial, structural, now in the country? Let's go hit those, and that's it. And then eventually they're going to have to capitulate. It's the only way we did it with Japan. And if Trump hasn't learned the lesson from World War II, maybe just maybe the master of the deal isn't quite the most advantageous position in this situation. Not when you're dealing with religious zealots.
Why do you say that?
Because you're dealing with religious zealots.
Yes.
They're not interested in your economy. They're not interested in your deal.
Okay.
They're interested in killing you, and that's it.
All right.
And all they want to do is stay alive long enough to come back and do it to you later.
All right. So
why keep them alive? Why?
Fine. So let's stick with that as the main idea. Okay. And then lead to what then is the necessary outcome if you're dealing with that kind of people. What is the necessary outcome?
Regime change, dare I say.
Well, let's take it one step further. What were the terms and conditions for Japan at the end of World War II?
We dictated those terms. I don't know what they were specifically, but we dictated those terms.
Unconditional. The key word is unconditional.
Unconditional, which means the same thing. We dictate the terms.
Well, the formal term would be unconditional.
Right.
And okay. So that's the place we have to get to with Iran, like it or not. That we will only accept unconditional surrender from the enemy.
That's correct. We don't hear them
talking about that.
We don't hear them talking about that.
You're going to be crazy, then there's nothing to negotiate.
And where have we heard those words in the last 3 weeks? I haven't heard those words, unconditional surrender.
Right.
We're trying to make a deal that works.
Playing this game, which is you look at Trump and going, he doesn't seem like a regular guy.
Who do you think on the Iran side, okay, in that government, whatever the hell's going on over there, who do you think is going to agree to an unconditional surrender over there?
We're not. Well,
they're not.
Let's be clear.
Until they're wiped out in a new government. You know what will? The new regime change regime will.
Right.
Okay. So we're putting the cart before the horse.
Still, okay. It's
Japan took the nuke. We don't want to use the nuke, so that's the only other way.
You're stating a general principle. I'll call it a desirable goal. But I also respectfully submit, Jason, that your ideas are divorced from the reality in Iran. Okay. You have a huge number of people, a huge number of locations. You have many places that are inaccessible, hard to get to. All right. They know these places. They know their ground better than we do. Right. So the notion that you're going to wipe them out is a fool's errand. All right. That's the first problem. The second problem is that you're going to have.
We can't wipe them out. We can't weaken them enough so that their people can come out and help us polish them off.
Okay.
We can't win. You're saying we can't win the war militarily, is what you just told me. We can't wipe them out.
Let me try it for you in another way.
Okay.
Getting the people of Iran together.
I know I'm like a bad lawyer.
To work as a team to take over Iran.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same problem that Republicans and conservatives have in Connecticut with eliminating our own Ayatollah Lamont.
Okay, that makes sense. Our proto.
Okay. And we're just 3 million people. So imagine trying to deal with this with 92 million people.
But there's a difference here. Well, actually, You're right. There's not quite a
scale.
We have 80% of the people here that are common sense in Connecticut, but we have only 55 that are really conservative or truly. In Iran, you have a government that the big difference is you have a government that's so oppressive that 85% of the people there do not want that government even there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's a much better thing to work with in terms of winning over the people. Even if they don't, I know you showed us the map last month with all the different groups of Arabs that are there, but I would say most of them all agree that this mullah's got to go, other than the one or two tribes that are connected with the mullah, in essence, right?
Okay. Let me try it another way. Right now, what does that say? I can't carpet bombing.
Carpet bomb.
Yeah, okay. I see. Carpet bombing.
Bring them to their knees.
How do you think? Well, a carpet bombing would work on a mountain.
It would work if you took 1/3 of Tehran and carpet bombed it. That would work.
No, it's a silly idea. Okay?
I know. Listen. That goes after civilians. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Good. Whatever it takes to get you there. Okay, so let me try this another way. We have enough problems in Connecticut.
We sure do.
Just getting the conservatives to take any kind of control of the state Republican Party.
Because we have so many moles on the other side, though. I don't think Iran has that same problem.
Okay, how are the conservatives going to organize if we're going to get rid of Ayatollah Proto?
We're going to do it through events and through media.
Yeah. Oh, in that meantime, in Iran, you're going to do that through events and media?
No, we're talking about which one are we talking about? Now you're confusing me.
I'm trying to tell you that the challenge.
And you're trying to compare the two, but they're really completely different. Here we can march in the streets, we can protest freely.
Yeah, how's that going?
Well, we're not doing it enough. But I get your point. We can't incentivize people to come out and protest in big numbers here freely yet. In Iran, they can come out and join our rallies, and they don't have to worry about being shot necessarily. Whereas over there, they do. That's a big difference.
Okay, so while I'm not quite sure what this begins to look like, I will state with confidence that I believe the guiding principle for the people who are working to develop the leadership and the numbers on the ground to put up resistance still depends on the concept of divide and conquer. All right. Again, IRGC, Artesh, Quds Force, Bashir, God knows who else. All right. Target-rich environment for dividing and conquering. The point is to get these guys to start fighting with each other.
But you gotta remember, though, there's still the oldest, one of the oldest concepts in the books. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they can figure out. They may have their problems with each other, but they all know that this mullah, which is only really one of the groups, and all these groups, there's only one of them that's running the whole show. They all know that's his common enemy, and people who don't agree can unite to fight off a common enemy. And that's the selling point for our CIA and our people that should be out, hopefully in there helping to put together these groups. Like that is where it is similar to Connecticut. You and I are trying to unite all these small groups to get them together, which I believe we're making progress. We got a guy named from Florida, the guy Ryan was telling you about, wants to come up here and plan events.
Mm-hmm.
He loves our idea about the festival.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I'll MC the thing. I'll let the bands play, and right after the intermission, I'll do my one ukulele number. Just one.
That'll help people leave more quickly.
Oh, you think? Oh, thanks a lot. Hey, I had them gathering on the Alaskan cruise there, my man.
Yeah. What was this gathering?
It was all the smokers on the top deck. Melissa can tell you.
When was this?
2 years ago when I went on an Alaskan cruise.
You brought your ukulele.
I brought my ukulele with me on the cruise. I played it largely in my own room. But then at the top of the at the end of the cruise, at the top deck where they have the pool and the bar and everything, where all the people hang out, the people that smoke hang out and stuff.
Yeah, in the old
I saw them smoking. I walked over. I started playing, and I played like 5-6 songs, and they were really. I could tell the difference between a polite applause and a real like yeah. Okay. Well, I got it. Yeah. I did.
So what are you doing here?
Oh well, come on now.
You should be touring.
It's just fun. I'm no star.
But if you're getting a strong,
I can get him going at the event. But I'm not the band and everything. I'm just for fun. I do one. But yeah, I want to do that event. I really want to do the music festival.
All right. Well, this is something to sit down and plan on, as we've talked before. With so many of these background.
Did you look at the name roster I sent you?
I get it. Yeah.
Did you get the name roster I sent you and the login on that thing?
I haven't gotten to it. I've been all day at the office. Home, dinner.
Oh no, brown cow.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kidding. You were in such a hurry.
Tomorrow's
check it out. Check it out as soon as you can. And listen, if you have trouble logging into it, it's Selena you need to contact.
All right.
She's the queen of it all.
I haven't talked to her in a while anyway.
Yeah, and plus you want to get that. We still got to get that debate attendee sheet from her. That's an important thing to help build the foundation, I think.
Yeah.
Even just by attending that debate, it showed that they have some either loyalty to democracy or not complete loyalty to Ben. Now they're trying to say that Ben wanted the debate all along. It's funny the stuff they come
Who said that?
I'm hearing the chat. It's chatter online about it.
Who?
I don't know. So I've talked to. There's a bunch of people. Said
he wanted the debate.
They're saying he was okay with the debate all along. He was never against a debate, which is is bull.
Yes, we know it's bull.
His mouth. I told you that when Ben grabbed my phone.
Hold on. Thank God for Kim Wigglesworth, who got the video of Aaron standing there saying, "Yeah," and Ben said we shouldn't have the debate before the convention.
Right. Well, look, they'll say anything. They'll say anything. They even said that when Ben grabbed my phone, that it wasn't really Ben. It was his evil twin brother. They literally said that he has a brother that was there. That was him. The old, yes, Court, the old evil twin brother excuse that we all make fun of our whole lives. That somebody actually tried to put that out there.
Well, that evil twin seems to still be lurking around one way or another.
He is. Lurking is the right word.
His next assignment is to screw Jonathan DeBarros.
Yeah, I know. We can't let him do that.
Yeah.
We got to force a debate between him and Shay. That would be great to do. Unfortunately, my full-time job as an investigator takes too much of my time up. That's where your guy comes in.
You mean Eric?
Yeah. No, your son.
But wait.
He's going to get a test when I go over. He's going to run my company for 2 weeks. Run the company.
I know. You told me this.
Yeah. We'll see how it works out. I'm confident in him.
Wait, how do we get from Jonathan DeBarros there?
I don't know. Oh, because I got there because I would love to spend more time helping John, helping this cause.
Oh.
But I'm stuck working 40, 50 hours a week as an investigator, and that takes away all my time. That's why I jumped over and said, once your son is fully trained, he can start running things.
You're kind of still caught between a rock and a hard place, right? Because you need the income.
Yes. And there's things I need to do to cut my expenses. I'm going to do some dramatic things to cut my expenses.
Oh, dramatic. Okay.
Yeah, I know about that. Necessary. I have to sacrifice completely for this cause. With no restrictions. It just has to be that way.
All right. Well, I mean, okay. The nature of the sacrifice, though, will takes on a certain character. And all right, should we go down this path here? I'm trying to decide. All right.
Well, we're meeting with Becker. I'm meeting with Becker on Tuesday. We're going to get that nonprofit thing started that day, not the next day. That day
on Wednesday. Yes.
Yes, Wednesday. No, I'm meeting with the attorney on Tuesday.
Right.
You and I, in the Montville week on Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay.
So things are starting to come together. We have the logo, which I can show you, but I can't show. I'll
By
show
the
it.
way,
I'll show it on the show on Tuesday. I'll show him.
And what is the nickname for Jim Myers?
It needs a little tweaking, but I think I really like it. Pretty close to what it is.
What, the logo?
Yeah.
What's the tweak? Oh, wait, I suggested putting a circle around it, but other than that,
the blue, I think I like to see a little bit brighter, just a little, and maybe a little, like it looks a lot like I wanted it to look a little bit like the ESPN logo, but I didn't want it to look too much like the ESPN logo.
Yeah,
I want it sued by ESPN, so maybe it needs a little bit of more originality in it, a little bit.
Are the letters one color? Are the letters one color in ESPN?
No, they're not the same color, so that's good.
In ESPN,
they're not. No, they're different. We're using red, white, and blue. ESPN uses like an weird orange and brown, I think.
Okay.
So
all right,
we're good there. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I think it's pretty much what we're going to use.
Okay. And how far away is that wall behind you?
Ow!
Oh, there you go. So you just hit the wall where you're going to hang the logo.
Yeah, I can put it right there.
Exactly. This is the disadvantage of having this screen behind me.
But I have to get rid of, to really seriously, though. Let me see if I can mess around a little bit. I like the welcome to reality.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get rid of all this garbage in the back with the shelving, and it looks quaint, but it doesn't look professional. I don't know. I'm messing around.
What's that thing on the other side? What's that? Oh, that's the curtain. That funny.
That's a curtain to the window. Yeah.
Orange diamond shape. Okay.
And that's just. I mean, this is just right. This is our. By the way, our Connecticut trivia show we want to have too on the network. That's the questions for that right there.
Have you played that game?
No, it's not even out of the plastic.
Well, let's open the box up.
Let's do it.
That's right.
Live on Common Sense News.
Let's see what's in there.
Hey, I'm going to ask you three. I have an idea for fun.
Wait, we got to show people on the screen what we're looking at here.
Let's have some fun on the show for a minute.
Yeah, America's Spirit. There it is. The family game for patriotic Americans.
That's right. And just to be proper, it's done by University Games. Is the name of the company, so we'll give them credit.
Does it say where they're from?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, University Games. 01776. Let's see, where are they from? I can find that out real quick. San Francisco, California, of all places.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
Yep, that's right.
Wasn't that something? We have some Patriots left in California.
Okay, so
I'm going to ask you. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pretend it's debate night. I'm going to ask you 3 random questions.
Yeah, you got to check out. So it's universitygames.com. And you got to check out what they got on their website. Not bad. They got the right idea. Yeah.
I'm going to ask. We're going to test your knowledge here.
Sure, go for it.
I'll let you do the same thing at a future date. To me, but now I'm holding the cards.
Okay,
here we go. Ready?
Ready.
Of course, I'm going to have to dig through some more plastic.
Of course.
I could go to the grocery store and buy one of those hand-cooked meals.
Yes.
And it's easier to get into those hand-cooked meals for someone to come and poison your food than it is for someone to get in and poison your trivia cards.
Well, I'm going to say you're going to have to make it.
Okay, are you ready?
More. Ready.
I'm going to give you 3 1.
Okay.
What is the name of the largest railway station in the world?
Oh, wait. What is the name of the what?
The name of the largest railway station in the world.
Excuse me? It's Grand Central.
Bing! You got it. Here's another one. The Appalachian Mountains, extend roughly 1,600 miles, beginning in the province of Quebec in Canada and ending in which U.S. state?
Georgia.
You got it. You didn't even need the multiple choice. All right, one more, then we'll move on. What landlocked state was the site of a naval battle during the Civil War?
Oh, how do you like that?
See if you can get it straight. If you can't, I'll give you the multiple choice.
All right. This would have been on one of the Great Lakes, but it's landlocked. All right. Well, they're basically, in my mind, three choices. You got New York, Ohio, or Michigan. They're the big choices. Ding, 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 ding. I'm going to go with New York State.
Oh, you're wrong. I'll give you the choices, though.
Okay.
Tennessee, Pennsylvania, or West Virginia? Must have been on a river then.
Must have been Pennsylvania.
No, it's West Virginia.
Wait, what?
That's what it says.
There's like, what
these were made. You have to look up online.
Oh, okay. But same problem though. Now wait a second. West Virginia, were they on the Confederate side?
No, I don't think so. I thought they broke off because Virginia had seceded, and that's why they split up, because West Virginia wanted to remain loyal to the Union, didn't they?
I would have to check that.
That is what happened. Virginia voted to secede.
All right, so then
West Virginia broke away and was admitted to the Union in 1863, I believe.
All right,
as a new state, free state.
How cool is that? All right, we've got to try. We got to go look that up. Yeah.
This is at any point. This is the game. We're gonna. That's one of the plans is to have a. This is an American one, actually. American trivia. We're gonna have some Connecticut trivia questions. We'll mix in with it.
They have a Connecticut trivia, or we can.
I believe there's a Connecticut trivia game out there. It's not this game.
Wait.
I can make up my own too.
We sure could.
A lot of them.
Let's see.
So it would be Connecticut trivia, but also it would be around national patriot trivia as well. Are you still stuck on that naval battle in West Virginia?
Okay, so there's some. You got a couple of websites here. Just rattle these off. One is watercoolertrivia.com. 67 Connecticut trivia questions ranked from easiest to hardest, and somebody has a fun trivia with 80 Connecticut trivia questions. Trivia Whiz with 21. Okay.
There you go.
And then, of course, there are trivia bars in Connecticut. That's another thing.
I could probably,
those are
worldwide trivia
events. We should have a trivia contest as a fundraiser.
Yeah,
I'm writing that one down. I am stealing that.
I like that one.
Okay, Connecticut.
See, all kinds of things we can do.
Trivia night.
People like little friendly competitions too.
Yes, they do.
That's a smaller event. That's an event you do at a restaurant or a bar.
I'll just to say it. I don't know if they still do it, but so you're gonna love this. There's a restaurant in Clinton called The Deck, and every Wednesday night, this guy would show up and he would have trivia night at this place, which was otherwise, quote, a sports bar with a whole bunch of pool tables. So wait a second, you're telling me you were able to run a trivia night with a bunch of guys who like sports and pool? And the answer is yes. He did it for quite some time. I think, he probably got a job someplace else or something. Who knows? But
if you did like Jeopardy style, say there's different categories. You have Americana, Connecticut sports, Connecticut sports,
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be like, there's probably, for a show, you'd have to come up with hundreds and hundreds of questions to make it last.
Well, yeah, it takes some work, but we may have to steal.
I could come up with 100 Connecticut questions in one afternoon if I sat down and did it.
All right, well, this one's easy. What unofficial state nickname of Connecticut refers to a spice that is
Nutmegger, baby. The Nutmeg State. The Nutmeg State.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that choice, don't you?
Yeah, it was done by smugglers, right? Or fraudsters did it.
Fraudsters. They would sell fake nutmegs.
Based on fraud.
Not thinking,
You never heard the questions I asked at the debate, did you?
Right. Sorry?
You never heard the questions that we asked at the debate, did you?
No. I never heard
we'll have to run those through you next time. I'll have to get them printed out and run those through you next time.
Okay.
That's how you do. I'll give you one of them.
Yeah.
What according to Webster's dictionary, what is a resident of Connecticut officially referred to? Is it A, Connecticut-tier, B, Connecticut-ter, C, nutmegger, or D, Connecticut-tite?
I'm going to go with nutmegger.
No, it's Connecticut-ter.
A Connecticut-ter.
Connecticut-ter. That's the official dictionary. The nutmegger is the nickname.
Connecticut-ter
is the dictionary term for Connecticut resident.
So you'd say a New Yorker and a Connecticut-ter.
Yes, sir. Nobody says that, but that's the official word.
Yeah,
I call them nutmeggers myself.
Right. So there you go.
But one thing we don't deserve is the name. We have another nickname that we don't deserve. You know what that one is? Huh?
What name is that?
The Constitution State.
Oh.
We perverted that sucker so bad. We should give up that name.
I don't
Either
say
fight and get it back or give it up.
Well, it's called Fight and Get It Back.
Fight and get it back. I'm for that.
Yeah.
Well, we've lost that title now.
Well, all right. I think it should be, you have to spend time doing your homework and putting a presentation together that shows specifically in which ways the Constitution has been violated, courtesy of the state of Connecticut. I have no problem because I can start with the homeschooling bill, the vaccine bill, the latest gun control bill.
It used to be
control.
It seemed to me that constitutional abnormalities in the past were just based on differences in interpretation. But today, these are just based on destroying the Constitution. Forget about interpreting it. It used to be strict interpretation, loose interpretation. Now it's destroy it.
Okay, well, you have to be more explicit when you say destroy.
Well, ruin the Bill of Rights is mainly what I'm talking about.
Okay, ruining the balance of powers. So you got to go down the list. Say, all right, what laws have been passed in Connecticut that impair free speech, that impair your Second Amendment rights, impair, what should I say, safety against search and seizure, right to due process, the protections in the Fifth Amendment. You just go down the list, and see where Connecticut has violated them. Yep.
I think that we should, I'm confident we can clean things up, and eventually, and once we do, I always thought there should be a new constitutional convention.
Well, there's something to mess things up.
No. What you do is, the purpose of the convention is to add amendments to it that reaffirm the power of the people, not diminish it. That reaffirm, checks and balances. That double down on them based on, the liberals will always say that the Constitution's outdated. It's modern times. Blah blah blah. They're not all wrong. Modern times creates let me give you an example. The issue of the First Amendment and social media, right? Back when the founding fathers founded this country, the only way you could communicate was basically getting on a box and yelling around in the town. Okay, there was no other communication.
That was your social media,
right? So that was your social media. Things have changed dramatically. Now you can get through to 1 million people on just some loser in his mother's basement can get through it to 2 million people. The communication is so powerful. Maybe, I don't know, and I don't even know what it is, but we should think of maybe a couple of amendments to the Constitution that might reaffirm free speech or define. The problem is the First Amendment speech only restricts the government from restricting your speech. It doesn't restrict Facebook from doing it. It doesn't restrict any private organization from doing it.
That is because of things like, I forget what it was, Rule 539 or something. Okay, there's the government shall make no law. Yes, there's been a whole argument ongoing to this day over whether or not a company like Facebook has to be treated as a publisher or as a public utility. They've argued that they're a public utility, which then frees them from the content that gets sent out. If they're a publisher, then they're responsible for what's being sent out.
But it's also goes to censorship, right?
Well, yeah, you're going to ask it there. You should say the argument is that
there's talk that Twitter and Facebook in the past have censored conservative speech on which they do, and they have in the past, especially.
Okay. And so there's a problem with this argument because you have, for example,
they technically have the right
claims that they've aided and abetted pedophiles and child pornography online. Okay, so it seems like the speech is pretty free over in that corner,
right? And so that's my point. This platform is so powerful and different than what the founding fathers envisioned. Maybe smart, scholarly, conservative-minded people, excuse me, should sit down and figure out some amendments to the Constitution that do address, not to diminish the Constitution, but to further affirm its power for the people, the power of the people. And what that means and what that's defined on specifically, I don't know. That's what the convention would be for.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, constitutional conventions in the let's put it this way: when we finally put Marxism to death, then we can have a constitutional
That's
convention.
what I mean. Once we win this country over, is what I'm talking about. We fixed it.
Oh, yeah. Alan couldn't resist because of adrenochrome. You know what adrenochrome is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said because of adrenochrome and those that consume it. I mean, guess that's why we still have these people getting away with this stuff.
But didn't you just say that the correlation between mass shootings and the liberal use of drugs on children are pretty much go hand in hand in terms of timeline?
Timeline.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Well, timeline.
All the mass shootings started at once we started giving more kids.
Oh yes,
psychiatric drugs, basically.
There's something happened, yes, and I'm just going to say like 2005, but but we date it to Columbine as the first shocking case.
That was the big one. First big one.
Although I think the problem is that if we were to look at the Columbine case, those kids were not on any kind of psychiatric drugs. They were just, I'll tell you, that
particular guy was psycho, just a psycho to begin with.
The kids at Columbine had written their suicide note, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And would you like to know what they chose in that note?
What did they choose?
A quote from Shakespeare.
Okay, I think I faintly remember that. What was it?
It said basically that bad seed can come from a good womb. So you've been good parents, but we were bad seed.
Well, that sounds psychopathic. I mean, maybe not by drugs.
In a way, they're being honest.
Some people are born psychopaths. I mean,
that's the point.
Yeah,
that's the point.
But that's not the source of our mental health crisis in America, though. What is all the drugs that kids are getting, and all the stress kids are being put through, and what they're being taught in these schools. Our schools in America have been turned into political engines for the left to indoctrinate our kids. And until we do something to stop that, we're never going to get out of this problem, because we're going to keep churning out new graduates of America haters.
Yeah, some get it, some don't. I mean, for what it's worth, the Education Council, we've had kids come over to our meetings at various times, and they have been exposed to this propaganda and indoctrination, and they reject it. Okay.
Well, that's so, the saving grace is we do have enough independent thinking kids to help that generation maintain its order as time goes on. As we relinquish the power of our generation, they kick in. Well, look at the TPC, TP
USA.
Yeah. So there's a lot to be said.
Well, that said, I met a couple of kids from UConn at the convention, and they were they made it very clear that they're getting a whole world of problems in trying to set up a chapter at UConn. It's a real battle.
I thought they had a chapter at UConn. It's at Eastern they're trying to set up.
Well, they have. I think they have a chapter. Shall I say in name only, in the sense that they meet,
it's not officially
they call themselves. Yeah. But if they try to hold an event, the university comes down on them and just makes everything difficult.
Oh wow, that's terrible.
Right. Okay, well, this is another battle that has to be fought. Yeah. I think we have a role in it. I'm not quite sure what that role is, but we do.
Well, I told you about my disappointment. I don't know, maybe I didn't. I was put in connection with the guy that's heading up whether it's official or unofficial. He is heading up the UConn chapter. I met him at the debate. I met him at the RTC annual in February. Mm-hmm. And I got connected with him on the phone.
Right.
I told him what I wanted. I told him I understood there's a chapter at UConn, but it's not official, I guess. But we want to have a chapter at Eastern. And he basically told me he wasn't going to help me.
Okay. Well, Alan started a fight here.
Uh-oh.
So let me just read this off. You can't.
I'm ready. I'm listening.
Okay. So first he makes a point. I mean, Alan is up on all these kinds of subjects. So there were operational failures that lead to many more deaths in Columbine. I can accept that. The entire, in other words, the police mismanaged it, and since then they've tightened up. Mm-hmm. By the way, totally unrelated. Just let me get it off my chest. So I come across this video that's reliving what happened. The message of the video is America's special forces have become the best in the world because of Iran.
Because of the practice of because of the practice we're getting in Iran?
Well, what they were doing was they were starting from what was called Operation Eagle Claw. under Jimmy Carter. So if you remember, there were these helicopters that crashed in the desert in Iran. It was a huge national embarrassment.
I remember.
Okay.
It was under Carter, right?
Yeah. So this video, so there was a report that was released, I don't know, a year or so later, and it goes through everything that went wrong in detail. And let me tell you, we do not even know 1/10 of what went wrong. I'm sorry. If there was a case where God was saying, don't do it, this was it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just, the Maboob. Anybody know what the Maboob is? The Maboob is like a dust storm tsunami.
Okay.
And a dust storm tsunami came up in the middle of their operations. These helicopters were trying to land in the desert for refueling to go on to the next. Oh my God, the things that went wrong. Yeah, so they just didn't learn. But okay,
live and learn, I guess.
Okay, but the point they're making is the mistakes that were made. See, this is the thing about, at least about the American military. We put a high priority on analyzing every mission, good and bad. And if the mission fails, we pay particularly close attention to all the things that went wrong and figure out how it's not going to happen next time. Okay? That's one thing I think that the American military gets a couple of high marks for. And so as a result of this disaster in the desert in Iran, you know, that started to create a culture that brings us to the present day that is far better in terms of carrying out various operations. Anyway, so then Alan points out, independent thinkers are only as good as their knowledge of what they're independent from. I'm calling that half correct, Alan, half correct. Because there's the question of whether or not, you know, how many conversations have we had where we're dealing with crazy ideas of one kind or another, right? And then we bump into these concepts and we go, "Oh, that's interesting. That's unusual. Wow, let me play with that for a while." Okay. Well, you don't have to, I mean, to do that, right? You don't necessarily have to fall into your definition here. All right. So, I mean, if you're trying to say this in the context of political ideology, that might be one thing. But, you know, this gets into this whole other thing, right? You want to trigger me? Let's start talking about critical thinking, you know, so we'll get to that one later. In the meantime,
the critical thinking has its ups and downs. I mean, there's a lot of advantages to being an independent thinker.
What ups and downs?
I think being an independent thinker can be a handicap too.
How?
Because at least from my
he's being a contrarian too, Alan. What are we going to do with this guy? What?
It can be a thing. Being able to think independently means you can analyze. A lot of times, I have the ability to analyze more than one point of view.
Yeah.
Especially in my personal life when I'm making decisions. I'll give you an example. My first marriage was really not very good, and it took me like a year and a half to figure out whether I want to leave it or not.
Yeah.
Because my independent thinking kept me. This is why here. This is why here, and it was hard to say no. This is what needs to be done, and just make a decision.
I see.
All this independent thinking going on. It's like, look, it's almost like there's a little Senate going on in my head. And they can't seem to, you know, there's a filibuster going on, you know.
The filibuster in your brain. Okay?
Yeah.
Which side of the brain was filibustering there?
It's like when you're an independent thinker, you have an open debate going on in your own head sometimes. And that can sometimes, I'm not saying it's always a bad thing. It can be I think it's more advantage than disadvantage, but that is the disadvantage of it. Sometimes it paralyzes you when you're trying to make an important decision.
Well, there's thinking and then the tools of thought. And then the question becomes, what tools of thought are you using for your critical thinking?
Well, one thing that helps me is the thing that a lot of people give advice on is you do the old positives and negatives and you weigh them out. And then you
sure.
But it's not enough to do a list of, I figured out.
Pros and cons. Do you know who invented that?
But it's not enough.
Pros and cons.
Praise all the pros and cons of hitchhiking.
Yeah, who invented
it? Roger Waters? I don't know. You tell me.
Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, okay. Well, you're all the pros and cons list.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to just list out the pros and the cons. You have to weigh them.
Okay.
So you have to weigh them on a scale of 1 to 10. This pro is only a 2. In other words, she's a great cook, but she beats me up every night. What's more important? You know?
I see.
You have to rate each pro and each con on a scale of 1 to 10, and then you add those numbers. That's where you get your decision.
Check out what Jonathan DeBarros just posted.
What is he saying?
I don't know, but that showed your face.
Me?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Go figure. Anyway, let me read the other thing that Alan said. It is like the parents that raise kids without religion because they want their kids to choose for themselves as adults. The problem is when they grow up, they lack a frame of reference. I could not agree with you more, Alan. I could not agree with you more. Yep. You know, the issue, I mean,
rather than raising without religion, what if you expose them to all the decent religions, not including Islam?
Okay, well, I'm gonna use myself as an example here because I think this addresses what you're talking about. So I had what I would call weak religious training as a child. I went to Sunday school. There was a youth group at the church. Yeah, and I went to church a little bit. That was it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we fast forward to when I'm 18 years old. I come across a book by Alan Watts. I think it was East versus West or something. Alan Watts was a popular sort of New Age philosopher in the 60s and 70s. So he would be good for things like, do you know who you really are? Now, at 18, I think it's a fair statement to say, I'm not quite sure who I am.
At 18, maybe, but not much older. You better figure it out in your 20s or, you're in trouble.
Yeah, so at that time, not so sure. Well, this launched me on a journey, okay, which is not unlike what you were suggesting. So I started to learn about different religions. I spent a lot of time with yoga as well as with other elements of Hinduism and Buddhism and Zen. And then studying ancient religions, and that took me down a path that had more to do with, what should I call it, psychic phenomena, I guess, and stuff like that. But after that whole process, okay, going through all those things, I reach a point, and I'll tell you, it's ironic. There was a book called Autobiography of a Yogi, and it was, I believe, chapter 5. Where you have a person who is a Hindu who's explaining Christianity, Adam and Eve, and the tree of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
And when this Hindu guy explained all this, suddenly I got it. Suddenly I said, now I understand. And I went back to being a Christian.
I see.
Okay.
So my situation was actually pretty much the opposite of that.
Right.
So I was raised
the hippie health food guy inside of you. That's right.
I was raised in the Congregational church.
Well, so was I.
My mother put me in Sunday school.
Right. Same here.
She made me go every weekend that I wasn't with my father.
Yeah.
And it was nothing but I don't know, like she didn't talk a lot about it at home.
Okay.
But I think the experience was not great for me.
Yes.
So I looked at it taught me to be not anti-religion, but anti-organized religion.
That's a fair statement. Yep. Okay.
So my portfolio comes more from my own. Now I was married. My first wife and I would go to church regularly out in Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not been to church much since then, other than on Christmas. And
okay. Well, where's your Bible?
I have a copy of a Bible that now when I went to college as a history major, we studied a lot about. I did this course called I forgot what it was called even, but I had this Bible called the RSVP Bible. Ever heard of that? RSVP.
Many Bibles.
It's a version of the Bible where they attempt to translate directly from Arabic. Apparently, the Bible has been translated from Aramaic through like Hebrew and
really?
Arabic, other languages.
That's what you had as a course?
To eventually land in English.
Wow, that's awesome.
The translations of the phrases and whatnot between.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
Shows that there are areas that are problematic, and some of them, involve crucial phrases attributed to Jesus.
I'll give you one from the Old Testament.
Yeah.
The King James Bible talks about hell, and I can't remember what book it was. It might have been Exodus. It was Exodus. It was in the Torah, I'm pretty sure.
Let's see.
And it talked about hell as in the English translation, it talked about hell being a burning, a place of eternal burning and fire, okay, whatnot. But when you went, and if you went directly from Aramaic to English, that's what you got. But if you stopped in between with Judaism, if you went to Judaism and you interpret it, it got twisted out. What they were writing about originally was not hell. It was about on the east side. Back then, the cities were walled. There were ancient cities, they were all walled. And cities would, as any city today, you had a sanitation problem, a sanitation department. And what they would do is, most cities would take their trash and they would dump it outside the city walls on the east side of the city and would burn it. And it would always burn. So what they were really writing about was not hell. They were really writing about the eternal fires in their trash bins outside of the city.
Not necessarily.
But that's based on the actual language interpretations that we went through in the class. It was fascinating.
It could have been a metaphor.
Well, maybe, but it didn't seem that way.
Okay, well, somewhere has emerged.
And it turns out and historically speaking, that was a custom that the ancient tribes, and usually they put their trash on the east side because the wind would come from the west. And it would keep the smell off the city. So that made a lot of sense to me.
All right.
It could have been a metaphor. You're right. But anyway.
Yes. And there are also, what are they called? The Apocrypha? You know the Apocrypha?
No, I've heard of it, but I don't think I've read it.
Okay. So the Apocrypha would technically be those books that did not get included in the Bible for various reasons.
Oh, yes. Extra. The RSVP Bible has those books in it.
Okay.
Yeah. We didn't read the whole book. We only had one semester. But he assigned us certain aspects, certain parts of it, And I went through and read a lot of that book myself.
The other thing that makes this problematic is that, you see, this is where understanding what I'll broadly term the history of religion is important. Where do I want to start with this? Well, the first thing I want to bring up is there's the I'm trying to remember how this was told. The idea is that, quote, Jesus descended into, quote, hell or Hades to liberate those who are trapped there. Okay? So that is a concept of hell that seems to be rooted in biblical understanding, even though I think this is taught in the Catholic Church, but it's not taught among Protestants. If I've got this right.
Who's it that?
Help, Alan! Help! Okay.
Who's it that wrote?
Right.
Well, the Inferno, whatever it's called. Was that wasn't Dante? Dante wrote.
Yeah, it's the Inferno.
The Inferno, was that Dante that wrote that?
Pretty sure, yes. The 9 levels of hell. That's right. And so, anyway, let me just throw it. So, Alan adds that other than being baptized as a baby, I didn't start going to church until I was about 9 years old. After my parents got divorced. After your parents got divorced.
My parents got divorced.
I went somewhere regularly until I got married. Then it kind of faded off. Yeah, you can understand that.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I once for a while I was married, so I got divorced and it faded off.
Yeah, and he's been going back regularly. Yeah, Alan, because Alan, me, and Eric sometimes have some very interesting discussions about all things religion. I'll tell you, if you want to get beat over the head, if you want to think about types of religion instead,
I probably would fit in.
All you got to do is play this trick and spend a little time with Eric.
I probably would fit in as a skeptic.
Yes. As a skeptic, fine.
I mean, I have my faith, but I have my skepticisms too. As the mind of an investigator, I look for evidence and proof.
The Roman Church includes much of the Apocrypha that the Reformers removed. Interesting. And what about the Book of Enoch? Did the Roman Church remove the Book of Enoch? That's my question. You know about the Book of Enoch, right?
No.
That's the one that talks a lot about the Nephilim.
Okay.
The giants. And then meantime, right, we've had, it's just very strange, but if you look up Nephilim, you're going to find all kinds of stuff, and you have to stop and ask yourself whether or not it's true. But cases where these graves were uncovered and these giant human-looking skeletons that are 8 and 10 feet long.
Oh, well,
yes,
I believe now we're learning a lot about what happened between the great asteroid hit of 56 million years ago and the early the age of written civilization.
Yeah,
we're learning a great deal about what happened in those eras from something as I saw in a documentary a while ago. Matter of fact, there's evidence that as far back as, in the 10s and 20,000 years ago, 30,000 years ago, there might have been battles between different species of Homo sapiens. Like there may have been actual wars fought between
Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons.
And whatnot. Yeah, and they found
and Homo sapiens
used to know about 2 or 3 types.
Pass me the popcorn.
Now there's like 30 different types of people that were around supposedly, and some of them were giants, like you said, 8, 10 feet tall.
Right.
Not giant, like that giant kind of giant.
Yeah, well,
not Jack and the Beanstalk giant, but
that's pretty big. But there is another element here worth noting, and that is that when you go back many, many, many millions of years, the creatures then were much bigger than today.
Well, yeah, if you're talking about dinosaurs, yeah.
Why?
Maybe the atmosphere was cleaner.
Cleaner?
Maybe there was just better air, better food. You know why? But one reason why the food the creatures ate was much more pure, and the air was probably cleaner.
Oh, I'm going to have to drag you down another path at some point, which I just came across the other day. Did we talk about Dr. Jack Kruse?
No.
Yeah, so he's this neurosurgeon guy who's, shall we say, very much an independent thinker. It's a long video. You'll have to take it in bits and pieces. I'm still getting through the rest of it. But that thing I showed you last night about the isotopes of hydrogen is actually connected to things that he's explaining.
Oh, you talked about last night with the water.
Yeah, right. That our bodies have a certain tiny amount of heavy water in us, and that heavy water is unhealthy for us.
Well, with that unhealthy thought, I'm ready to wrap it up. You have anything else on your mind real quick before we say goodnight?
We didn't talk about election fraud.
Oh.
Yeah, this is.
Well, you know what? We could do a little more talk about that because, like I told you before we got on the air, I made some really good connections on that. So maybe we should tie all that together and just talk about it next time around.
We should, because I think it's going to.
I'd like to be able to announce some events that people can go to regarding this.
All right. So we'll have an election fraud special.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
So there's your teaser for people to tune in next.
I wish I had printed out the logo. I could show you guys the logo, but I'll have it next time around.
Okay.
Common Sense News Entertainment is coming. It's a lot of building behind the scenes going on now, but along with Core here and Selena and our friends, we're going to make it happen. Yankee T News, Common Sense News Entertainment. Good night, everybody. Glad to have you. Well, remember, the fight is always between the state and the family.
Oh, there you go.
Bye, everybody.
That might be the motto. Okay.
Fight. Every issue revolves around.
Right, Alan. I'll be checking in with you later.
Alan, take care.
Sunday.
See you soon. Bye, everybody.
All right.
I'll call you tomorrow, Court.
Okay. It sounds like a good